And how's it going, everybody? We are live. Another Tuesday edition of the Prop Stars. Your boy Buff here. It's my guy TJ. We are going to be breaking down some interesting NFL topics today. Of course, we got our lead pipe locks to talk about. We're at 7-2 on that. We are going to be going over survivor picks. There was a major upset this week. We'll see how your survivors did. We do have fantasy players trending up, trending down, the good, the bad, the ugly. And of course, we're recapping all of the craziness that just happened in the NFL. And we'll start with the Bills and Dolphins, the Thursday night game, which plays right into the lead pipe locks. TJ, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, we took over 1.5 touchdowns thrown by Tua. We hit it. We knew that they'd be playing from behind. Dolphins fought tough. I think they fought tough enough where McDaniel still has a job. I think they're just going to end up sticking with him the whole year because there's a system there, right, that they can't get away from. We also just hit our 750th subscriber. Thank you so much for listening.
Please like
we
and
are
subscribe.
Undefeated on our prop bets for this year. We're undefeated there. We're 7-2 on our lead pipes. So follow along. Always practice good bankroll management. But yeah, that Dolphins-Bills game, you're just watching two teams trend in different directions. And I heard on some other podcasts, I think on the Uninformed Fan, that Jeff was saying that, hey, you gotta build the offense around Tua, and you have to understand Tua's strengths and weaknesses, which is fine. But Tua's weaknesses are getting to the point that, good morning, Javi, that it's so glaring, right? I mean, Tua cannot throw a ball. First of all, now the ball's leaving his hands weird. Like, it's not even coming out as a spiral, right? And he talked, that last play they talked about how he makes that throw 10 out of 10. Kurt Warner had an amazing breakdown on it, how it wasn't a horrible read. And fairness to Tua, their D lineman got in untouched. So think about, you say hike, 1, 2, a guy that's 300 pounds is directly in your face, right? So real hard to make a read there when a guy is 300 pounds in your face, but the ball does not look right coming out of Tua's hands. It looks like he's almost handicapped the way he's throwing, and he's seeing ghosts out there sometimes. If you take away his first read, Xavier Howard said it and got a lot of publicity this week, Tua does not look comfortable. He has to be so perfect and so precise on his pre-snap reads, and he just can't put any emphasis on, can't put any velocity on the ball. The ball doesn't leave his hands right. And then you just watch a guy like Josh Allen, right? And not everybody has the tools that Josh Allen has.
No, Tua just looks like he's a little stuck in the mud back there. His feet look slow. He's not shifting around the pocket. He's not sliding. He's not graceful back there. And I'm not saying anything about Caleb, but obviously I watched the Cowboys game. We were right in his face. Dude comes right over, snaps a beautiful throw. There's just there isn't the natural athletic ability that he seems to be able to maneuver with to get him out of these bad situations. Like you said, his footwork has not been good.
Tua rolled out a couple times, and he showed a little quickness, which they brought up in the telecast. And he did okay, but it was something where, the ball doesn't leave his hands right. And as a quarterback, when I used to build offenses in Madden, right, I broke it up into 9 parts of the field. You could build, you had your 5 to 10 yard passes. You hit the left, middle, and right. You had the middle, which is your 10 to 20 yard passes, left, middle, right. And then you have your deep balls that are like 20, 30 yards plus left, middle, right. You want to make sure you could throw to all parts of that field, right? Safeties already know that Tua can't make certain throws. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, once the ball hits like 30 yards down the field, it's nobody's scared.
You're already taking away so many parts of the field with Tua. Now, what he gives you in knowledge, and his pre-snap reads, they say he might be one of the best in the NFL, is just when that offense is gelling, it looks good because the pre-snap reads are there, everything's smooth. But when they're taking away his first or maybe second read, the guy just looks lost. And we hit the lead pipe because over 1.5 with that kind of game tempo and knowing they're playing from behind wasn't going to be too difficult, right?
And they beat the spread too, right? They had the spread at like 11.5, came in at 10.
They covered pretty easily, which we mentioned on the show might happen just because it's a Thursday game. We don't see the Bills blowing them out. And it's unfair to judge Tua versus Caleb Williams and Josh Allen, maybe some of the greatest athletes on planet Earth. Sure. We already knew Tua wasn't that guy, right?
Right.
But the thing that concerns me is that Tua cannot make every throw. Like, for example, Kirk Cousins is a dead duck back there, but Jared Goff,
Matt Stafford is a dead duck, but he's got enough arm at the age of mid-30s to sit there to feed the league, you know? I mean,
yeah, I just think that it's just one of those things where it has to Tua just can't make every throw. Where Goff, he sits in the pocket, he can make every throw, right? So it was disappointing. The Dolphins fought hard, though, saved McDaniel's job, I think, because at least they look, they're not getting embarrassed like they did. They had the Patriots on the ropes, right? They were right there to beat the Bills. And also, we have to talk about this. I can't believe I haven't brought it up. That roughing the punter was one of the biggest mistakes you could ever make in a football game. The Dolphins were getting the ball back tied with like I want to say it was like 8 minutes left to go. The Dolphins stopped Josh Allen, which did not look like it was going to happen all game. And for some reason, I don't know why, the Dolphins went for a punt block when the momentum was already changing.
Yes.
And this guy just mollywopped the punter. It was rough for the punter. And now, instead of the Dolphins getting the ball back tied, which we all know the Dolphins can eat up clock, the Bills end up getting a rough in the punter and they score a touchdown. And then the Dolphins go down and Tua throws a pick, and that was it. It was really disappointing. And that rough in the punter, and I mean, the guy was so hard on himself and he was so disappointed in himself. I forget his name, big white dude. But it was just, he roughed the punter and it cost him the game. And as a special teams coach, as a head coach, if I'm McDaniels, I'm going to my special teams coach before the play. And I'm saying, make sure we do not rough the punter. Do not go for a punt block. I want all my defensive linemen to just stop and maybe make a block. And then I'm telling my fair catch guy, obviously you don't fumble the punt return, but be smart with it.
Yep.
Give Tyreek Hill, Waddle, A-Chain, and Tua a chance, and Malik Washington a chance to move this ball down the field, right? Roughing the ball, cost Dolphins the game. Could have been a nice little survivor pool thing too, because people had the Bills in survivor pool. It was just one of those roughing the punter plays that changed the whole game, and you could honestly say that could have changed the Dolphins' whole season. Dolphins don't.
You go 1-1 and you upset the Bill, or you'd be 1-2 at the time, right? Instead of being
1-2, you just beat arguably the best team in football on national television. All eyeballs are on you.
They had a short week. They had a chance.
You just went into Buffalo and you had that. You could have won that game, but the rough and the punter cost them. All right.
So you were mentioning Survivor there. The Dolphins are home against the Jets next week. Monday night game on a twin Monday night slate, right? I kind of like that in Survivor as we look ahead to the Dolphins next week. They're 0-3, and they're definitely going to be playing a Jets team. We're still waiting on Justin Fields to clear the concussion protocol. And obviously, Tyrod Taylor was moving the ball around a little bit at the end of the Jets game. The Bucks pretty much kept him in check. And if not for some miraculous block punt, which we'll go over here in a little bit, that game was there. So I definitely like the Dolphins potentially against the Jets as a survivor pick.
And if you have a buyback, it's a great play. I use the Dolphins already.
Because I'm not picking the Dolphins anywhere else.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And on that survivor for that game, 14 people had the Bills. So 14 people would have been knocked out. There's a good chance they would have been knocked out if that guy didn't rough the punter. Yeah, as far as survivor pool goes with the one that we're in that my cousin runs by John Ciambetta, he sets it up where the first 6 weeks you get a $50 buyback if you lose in survivor, right? So if you have your buyback, really recommend the Dolphins on that one.
Yeah, there's a couple other picks I want to make sure we go over too. All right, so moving on to the other games through our recap, we have the Bills Dolphins. I'm just going to talk about it. Let's go over the Cowboys Bears. It's always first on my ESPN slate because it's a priority game. Cowboys get blown out by the Bears. The package with CeeDee Lamb in the backfield. He runs the ball, gets an ankle injury. CeeDee's out for a couple weeks. We were moving the ball fine. It was against the Bears defense, who came out and showed some exuberance, some life. They came out right away. They're doing flea flickers. They're throwing the ball around the yard. We know we have no defense, right? So, okay, Diggs looks awful,
Yeah.
right? So they're just targeting Diggs. Our secondary is in shambles. Deron Bland can't cover everybody. We're not getting the necessary pressure, and this is just lead to Caleb Williams, even when we did, making athletic plays and dotting us up. The Cowboys are in trouble without CeeDee Lamb in that game. We ended up missing the over. One of my picks for a prop was definitely taking the over. They didn't have Jalen Johnson. Looked like we are going to be in a shootout. Everything was going. We were into the fourth quarter, right? And the score was looking good. I believe it was maybe even the same. Was it not in the fourth quarter? I don't know. It was definitely something that was worrisome for us. We didn't score at all. We turned the ball over in the red zone a couple times. It's just mistake after mistake, and the Cowboys definitely look like we got egg on our face. We're 1-2 going into a game next week where we're going to face the Packers, and Micah Parsons coming for a little bit of a homecoming. Doesn't look good. Nobody's going to count us in that game. So I definitely like us on, beating the spread. What's Dustino got to take the Bills if you haven't used them? 17-point favorite.
Yeah. I mean, Bills are favorite big. We'll get into that. We'll start reviewing that. I don't like to take the best teams in Survivor early on, but sometimes you just set it and forget it. Yeah, if I'm a Cowboys fan, I am pissed. You lost a game, which is a horrible loss. But
we got blown out. It was just not even – it was the way we lost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you didn't fight. But why are you lining up CeeDee Lamb in the backfield? And then when you line him up, you do an off-tackle run. The guy is not a running back. He's 6'3". He's a wiry frame. The reason why you don't see running backs that tall in the NFL, because it's so easy for your ankles to get rolled up on. You don't have a shorter stride.
You know who CeeDee Lamb is not? CeeDee Lamb's not Deebo Samuel. You know what I mean? He's not built like a running back.
That injury happened on a play that should never have been called. So you don't line up. If you're going to put CeeDee Lamb in the backfield, or you want to put him on jet sweeps or that kind of fun stuff, or you want to throw screen passes, but to hand the ball off to him on a halfback slam, halfback dive, or halfback off tackle is absolutely ridiculous, and not like anyone deserves to get hurt. But if I'm a Cowboys fan, I am freaking pissed that he got hurt on a play where he got his ankle rolled up on a halfback off tackle. Like, give me a fucking
We're really
break.
lucky that it wasn't more severe than just a high ankle sprain, that it could only be 2 weeks. And then whenever you're giving George Pickens this opportunity, he goes in there, he makes some catches. He had a decent line, but it wasn't anything that looked like he was overly dominant. He's still having trouble getting open and finding that. And I think that Ferguson, had like a game high 16 targets. You could tell that that's the security blanket for Dak going forward. Javonte Williams has another decent game. Cowboys offense still showing parts of contribution. It's just going to be a little incomplete without CD next week against a really good Packers team who just got beat by the Browns. So they're going to be pissed off. Micah Parsons is going to be looking to get down. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be.
You got anything else to say about that before we move
No,
on?
I mean, we got to talk about Caleb Williams, right? There was a lot of pressure on him, and he came out and shined. I was really impressed by that flea flicker throw, not because, of anything else, but the way it got pitched back to him, it kind of got like lobbed up, and he had to take a grip. I don't know if anyone understands how hard it is to get that flea flicker ball, as it's like when that ball's in the air, it must feel like 100 seconds, right?
An eternity, right?
He had to get a grip, and just rip it. And he ripped it 55 yards, I want to say, in the air, got it to the guy. And the guy made a very good catch because he was kind of close to the sideline. The whole play was pretty fun to watch. And Caleb Williams, a lot of criticism on him not being accurate, this, that. We've said it on the show a little bit. The guy is a superb athlete. And they're with the weapons they have, it looks like him and Ben Johnson might catch their groove, right?
It was a little weird. I think for the first game, he came out with no nail polish on. So that might have been a telltale sign,
Well, you're a leader of men. You got to know the room you're in. And I support individuality and be who you want to be. But sometimes you got to know that, if I'm an offensive lineman and I see your nails painted, all I'm thinking is you could be studying game film instead of painting your nails. Like, let's get to work, boys. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, you're making, millions of dollars per game, right? You're making hundreds of thousands of dollars per throw, per play. It's a lot of money on the line, a lot of fans. I don't want to see my players, playing golf and all that stuff.
Next week, the Bears are at the Vegas Raiders, so there's some optimism that they could beat that game. If they could beat the Raiders in that game and definitely have a chance to win. So
yeah, Raiders turning downwards. Let's go to the next game. Bengals Vikings. This was a surprise.
Vikings.
This is one of our lead pipe blocks. We hit the over. We hit it easily. Blah blah blah. Right. It was over 42. Indoor game. Too much talent on the field, and it went over. It was crazy though. Did you see I watched almost every play of this game. That guy, that Rodgers for the Vikings, he had a pick six, and then
and a fumble return.
Punched the ball out on the next possession, or maybe one possession after. The guy was coming at him. Guy trying to juke him. He punched the ball out. Then he picked it up and ran it for a touchdown.
Yep.
The next possession,
right,
he locks the guy up. The guy makes the catch, and he makes the guy fumble.
Again, but there was a flag. It would have been three. It would have been a turnover on that one too.
Well, it might have been one of the best defensive runs we've ever seen. Like,
right,
literally 2 defensive touchdowns, both all from him. It was unbelievable. And I just think I was shocked that the Bengals just folded the way they did. I was here on the show saying, not that Browning's anywhere close to Burrow, but I thought that fantasy-wise, I don't see, as the Bengals go, I didn't think they would take that much of a fantasy hit with Browning there, right? Yeah, the Bengals give us a 6th rounder for Russ. I don't think anyone's going to take Russ, but I could see us taking, I could see the Giants giving up Jameis Winston for, I would say maybe, get a 4th or 5th round pick for it. Hopefully, why not? Right. But Browning is making Bengals fans think that maybe he cannot be the guy, right? I mean, we know that he's not a Joe Burrow, but I thought that he could at least deliver the ball in places where get Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Chase Brown involved. And I was just shocked that they got blanked.
Jamar Chase 5 for 50, T. Higgins 1 for 15. You had Chase Brown 10 carries, 3 yards. Like not a line that's moving there at all. Chase Brown had 4 catches for 17 yards. They can't get Chase Brown the ball. They can't get Higgins the ball. They're trying to get it to Chase. It was bad. I will say it didn't take much. You had a resurgence or another signing of Carson Wentz taking over. Didn't take much for him. You got JJ going a little bit. He had Hawkinson balling. Like, you could tell that those veteran players love a veteran force coming in who knows how to deliver, can read defenses, and knows to get the ball to their playmakers. And I feel that maybe this makes them think about JJ McCarthy a little bit, right? Because you do have this opportunity to maybe grab lightning in a bottle again with another quarterback who's getting another chance.
Yeah, Wentz didn't look good, but he managed the game pretty well.
He didn't look bad, is all I was saying. He didn't look bad.
He missed some throws. But yeah, Jefferson's looks like he's always going to eat no matter who they put back there. The Vikings defense, the Vikings defensive line was running over the Bengals offensive line. Browning did not have a lot of time to throw. Also, Jordan Mason
was balling. 16 carries, 116.
Yeah. He looked incredible. We said it on this show. Jordan Mason was taking that starting job if Aaron Jones gets hurt or not. That is his job now. The Vikings have kind of I think they miss Sam Darnold, but I think in a way they're better this year. I think their defense is better. I think that
the running game is going to be better.
The running game is going to be strong. They're going to have a little bit of a different identity this year. I hope McCarthy could sit back and watch Wentz not even be good or bad, but just see the field now from the sidelines, because they're going to put him back in, I think, unless Wentz does something real special. And
yeah, of course. I mean, he had that magical run with the Eagles before he got hurt, and then it was the Philly special with Nick Foles, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, there's something with Wentz. Like, there was even a couple throws. Like, he obviously has every physical tool. We know that. But I think Wentz always sees stuff late. And it's easy for us to say sitting on the couch. But he's always seeing the guy open like a little later. You know what I mean? There was this seam route. What's up, Broly? Thanks for listening. I think that McCarthy, this will be good for him to sit back and the Vikings defense looks good enough where they're gonna really get going. You know what I mean?
Yep. Going to the next game, Steelers Pats. I thought this was a fun game. One of our other channels and show, or one of our other shows on the channel, the Rookies.
Yeah.
This is their team. This is a rivalry game. It was Patriots losing to the Steelers. There's a lot of fumbles. The Patriots cannot hang on to the ball. They got a few of those back, but Ramondre fumbled twice. Gibson fumbles. Henderson fumbles. Receivers fumbling. Like, the Steelers were laying the wood, don't get me wrong, and we know it's a decent defense. TJ Watt was causing issues 100%. But my God, the ball security looked awful for the Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be – it could be Trayvion's backfield now. Dustino says free Trayvion. I mean, he had 11 carries. That's good, and he did not produce 28 yards. He had 3 catches for 19 yards. Ramondre has had fumbling issues in the past. Looks like I'm surprised with Vrabel that they're still fumbling, right? But this is about as bad of a win as you could have for the Steelers, right? They did not look good. That offense did not look good. They're having trouble running the ball. It looked Drake May was moving the ball pretty easily on these guys. And I thought the Steelers were going to have a consistent offense and a lockdown defense. But, hey, a win's a win, and a win on the road is a win on the road. The Patriots look like they're going to be maybe a force in the coming years. Not this year, obviously. They're going to lose a lot of games this year.
A lot of people are up on them. I still wasn't sold on them yet, and I think we're seeing that a little bit. It's just some of these growing pains is what it looks like, right?
Now, with the Steelers, Rodgers, this is what Rodgers does, and Rodgers is known for this. Rodgers is a percentage. He's a mathematical guy. And that's why you don't see Rodgers blow out a lot of teams, because if Rodgers is winning or it's a close game, he will not take risks. And everything to him is a percentage. And I'm not going to throw this because we're up 7. You know what I'm trying to say? And it's been his knock for a lot of years that he just won't take those chances when he's up. I mean, look at his stats. He was 16 for 23. And if you watch that game, you never felt like the Patriots were suffocating him.
No.
It was just Rodgers playing conservative, playing to win the game, and it just makes it look like it's such a stressful win instead of Dustino saying trade for Trevion.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, the Steelers got to May 5 times too. He was definitely just riding on their defense right there. And I think Trayvon is definitely going to pop. I think this is going to be his backfield. I think it's going to take one play and you're going to see his emergence. We saw it in preseason. I know that the Steelers are a different case when it comes to elite defense. They're supposed to be one of them, and they look like they played like that on Sunday. And we'll see what the Patriots can bounce back from, right?
All right, we got a fantasy question from Broly619. He's saying, are we starting Jordan Mason or Javonte Williams next week? And is it Pickens or Egbuka? Obviously, like you said, first thoughts. Let's see what we got going here. The Vikings are playing. All right, it's a 9:30 game in Dublin, right? I love Jordan Mason there, even though the Steelers are known to have a good run defense.
I love Jordan Mason because the Javonte Williams, we're playing the Packers, and like we're out CeeDee Lamb next week. They're gonna stuff the box, and I like Egbuka. I like Egbuka over Pickens for the same reason, because Egbuka has actually shown, even without Mike and Godwin on the field this last Sunday, he can still get open as a number one. He was still doing his thing, making catches. I don't know if Pickens can, and I think that you're going to see a lot more Ferguson. Obviously, I still like Pickens. He's going to be a viable option. But if you're making me pick between Egbuka and Pickens, it's Egbuka and it's Mason over Javonte.
Also, Broly, I tip my hat to you, because if you're picking between those guys, I think most people, if you're in a 12-man league or even a 10-man, you're starting both of those guys no matter what, right? Because those are both – I mean, Judge – that was another one of our lead pipe blocks, which we'll get into. But Judkins he was 4 yards short, I think, of 100 yards, which could have cost us our fantasy matchup too, Buff, if he gets those few yards, right?
100%.
But, we're definitely going Jordan Mason, Egbuka versus the Eagles. That Eagles secondary and defense does not look good. The Eagles really relies on that pass rush, And if they don't get there, the Eagles can't cover anybody.
Yeah.
So Egbuka, a little worried about his health, but he came out for the Jets and he did okay.
He balled out even with his
Yeah.
hampered hamstring, groin, whatever. He was fine, dude. Literally.
100% we're going Jordan Mason, Egbuka. Broly, thanks for listening. Let's go back to what's the next game we want to talk
Colts,
about?
Titans. The Titans look awful. This is also another reason why in Survivor next week you can feel pretty confident in maybe taking they're either playing the Pats or the Texans, whoever it is. There's just not a lot going on when you can't get your ball to Calvin Ridley. You know what I mean? Like, he's your number one guy and you can't seem to get him the rock. That's a problem. And Cam Ward, you're a Miami guy. Cam Ward, I mean, he doesn't look awful, but he doesn't look like he's at that level where he's reading the defenses at the proper times. I don't know. The running game's not getting going. Chigo Conk was their number one right now. You're just not seeing a lot from that offense. Doesn't give me a lot of hope. Indy goes in there, trounces them. Daniel Jones looks like the real deal. Jonathan Taylor's scampering around 40-yard runs, 3 tutties. He's definitely a fantasy darling so far this year. The Colts are on pace. Michael Pittman looks good. Downs is involved. They got Jalen Warren, right, or whatever his name is, their tight end. Just absolutely balling. Looks like the Brock Bowers. Yeah, bro. Looks great. I know you traded for him. I'm definitely up on the Colts, down on the Titans. In this game, nobody was surprised. We're going to have to start looking at the Colts as a survivor team here as we go through looking at these soft matchups that their division has, right?
Yep. Calvin Ridley, huge disappointment so far. Cam Ward,
massive disappointment when it comes to good and bad.
Ball. Like you highlighted, a lot of people on the Colts. Jonathan Taylor barely gets over 100 yards, but 3 touchdowns. It was the Colts are looking like one of the best teams in football, and
3-0.
They were also Colts were somewhat of a popular survivor pick.
They only punted. They punted. They had to finally punt this game. You know that streak they had. They hadn't punted in the first 2 games, and it took like another quarter or whatever it was to finally punt.
Yeah, no, it's pretty impressive. Let's go down this survivor pool too. Like we're halfway through the show or 30 minutes into the show. Let's break it down really quick, right? Seahawks were the overwhelming number 1 pick at 36% of the survivor pool. Oh, hold on.
51 times. I picked him in both my picks. Seahawks made it through. Boom, boom.
Yeah, pause right here. We got a fantasy question. I got offered a trade. Judkins and Kamara.
For my guy. So he's obviously a homer, Bucks fan.
I have Chase Brown as my RB2.
Chase Brown has 40 carries, 90 yards.
Dave, if
I also have stock in Chase Brown. You want to hang on to him because there's better days ahead, but he has not had an ideal start whatsoever. So he's not giving you confidence as a number 2.
And Dave, if you're listening, is it a 2 running backs, 2 receivers, 2 flex, or is it a 1 flex? Because to me, that's going to be the big question. And also, we have to know who you have a receiver. Some of these questions are tricky. At face value, I am doing this trade. Rashad White looks really good.
Yeah,
right?
And Judkins looks like he's going to be the guy. Kamara's still getting trash volume.
It's a super flex league, so most likely you're going to put a quarterback in a super flex. Okay, that helps. I'm still doing this trade. Bucky Irving looks good, but man, there are a lot of mouths to feed with Rashad White, Mike Evans, Egbuka, and all that stuff, right?
Judkins definitely.
I think Judkins is going to be a top 10 back. Kamara, been a little bit of a disappointment so far this year, but he's the only guy in that team. He has to start doing something. Let me look at just Kamara's stats really quick.
Kamara has been getting his ass beat. Let me tell you what. The Saints are just running him into a wall. They're trying to throw him the ball. He hasn't been breaking anything down. It's absolutely insane how the Saints just continue to find themselves in these tough spots.
He's getting 18 carries. He got 18 carries last week.
Right.
So I'm doing that trade. I'm taking Judkins and Kamara, and I'm doing that. Man, Dave, you have a squad there, bro. You got Hill, Egbuka, Metcalf. I'm taking Judkins. I honestly am putting Judkins right up there with Bucky Irving right now. We got to adjust as we go here, guys. This is the way it goes. And then
Cam Scannable is another big candidate jumping up. Got to adjust.
I'm telling you right now, this is not a year where you say, oh, I drafted Bucky at my second round pick and I got this. Throw that draft board out the window after you've drafted your guys. This is not an overreaction. This is real life. Judkins just went for almost 100 yards. They gave him the ball a lot, and the Browns did not have the ball a lot in that game, and they ran Judkins into the ground. He had almost 100 yards. He is their bell cow.
He broke out on a 38-yard run, too. He had a nice little pop run.
Yep. Judkins is going to be the guy. I wouldn't be surprised from this time going forward. Judkins and Bucky are right there. Now you're getting Kamara as a bonus. You're building your depth. Yeah, so your team name is Rubber Bucky. So if you make the trade, change the team name and go win that league. Thanks for listening, Dave. Back to Survivor really quick. 36% took the Seahawks, 20% took the Bucks, right? The Bucks had that game. They were dominating. And that was one of our lead pipe locks too, right? I wasn't
even sweating it after the Jets had that crazy return either. I was like, Baker gets the ball back. Like, this is what Baker's there for. He was ready. He didn't look shook, and he knew he was about to go lead him to a victory, bro. Like, I love Baker in that spot.
I think Baker is trending towards a Hall of Fame career. Thanks for listening, Dave. I think that Baker Mayfield's on the way to a Hall of Fame career. Not right now, but I'm saying if he could do this for the next 6 to 8 years, which I don't see why he can't, he's got young energy. He's a great fit for Tampa. There's a lot of energy. And I would say, I don't know if I can name 3 quarterbacks in the NFL that I would rather have with 2 minutes left to go in the game. And I got Baker. One thing you know what he's not going to do is slide before the first down marker. You know he's going to hang in the pocket, and he's got quick feet, real quick feet. Yeah, his 40 time isn't the fast. He's a good athlete, but he's not Lamar Jackson fast, but he's got quick feet, and he uses those feet to get out of jams. Baker Mayfield.
He looks for contact, too. He had a signature run going up the right side, runs over a CB. You see him looking at the CB. That gets me so hyped when I'm watching football, when I watch the Bucks. It makes you want to root for the guy, the team, run through a wall for him. If I meet Baker Mayfield, I hope I have 2 beers on me because I want to shotgun a beer with that guy. Yeah. Just looks like the move, you know? That's awesome.
There's leadership qualities you can have, right? As a Giant fan, trust me. Russell Wilson, everything I hear, he comes to practice every day, and he's positive, and he's that. But when you're on the field, is that a guy you want to go across the middle for and put your life on the line for? I mean, a guy that's throwing the ball away on 4th down? Like, is that the guy that you want to run through a brick wall for? Baker Mayfield, that guy, I want to, like, if I'm an offensive lineman, I'm going to do whatever it takes. Baker Mayfield is a leader, and he leads not only by example. We got another fantasy question here.
Trade Henry for Etienne and Olave. I have JT, Henry, and Cook at RB with Tootin on my bench, but I have Ridley and Wilson at wide receiver, so I'm not sure what to do. 12-team PPR.
All right, KB football. I'm assuming this is like some sort of keeper league. Obviously, you're not draft. I don't know how, unless you went Jonathan Taylor, Henry 1, Jonathan Taylor 2. But either way,
that's what I did in a league. Yeah, JT Henry.
PPR, good for you to have 4 running backs that are 3 that are amazing, right?
And Tootin looks great over there in Jacksonville.
Wow. So KB said it was a redraft. Unbelievable. Props to you. You hit the jackpot. Okay, so you had 12. So you went Taylor, Henry, or whatever. Henry.
Yeah,
Taylor.
He went JT Henry. Ended up getting.
I have a feeling that it might have been a draft a little earlier, right? Because I bet you
he got Wilson. Looks like he got Wilson and then Cook, or vice versa. Maybe Cook and then Wilson is what happened.
Well, either way, it's a 12th pick, right? So it wouldn't matter. But yeah, so I think that obviously I bet it's like 2 weeks before the draft. Maybe James Cook wasn't signed yet, because that's crazy for James Cook to go to 36, right?
12. Yeah, absolutely. He went 3rd round. It's wild, dude.
Yeah, crazy. But okay, this is the question though. Trade for Henry for Etienne. I'm not messing with that team, bro.
No, I don't want either one of those guys. And don't get me wrong, Travis looks okay, but you're not going to be able to trust Olave, and Henry is.
Trust Rattler. I do not trust Rattler. I don't care what I've seen so far. Yes,
you have the best 2 cold or end of the season running backs that are in the league. JT and Henry are the guys that just run people over, weeks 12 through. Just
KB,
stick with those two guys, bro.
Is this a single flex league? I'm assuming so that's probably why. If it was a double flex, obviously you just start all.
If it's a single flex, you just set it and forget it. JT Henry Cook, and you let it ride, bro. You just let it go, and you pray that Ridley can somehow get the ball eventually from Cam Ward. Like you just deal with it because you got enough at Wilson. And you got enough with your other 3 running backs. I bet you this guy's 3-0. Doesn't look like he should be losing with his running backs.
What I see what the problem is with him is that he has Ridley, and he's not happy with Ridley. So Ridley might not be able to be a starter. But the thing is, I'm assuming this is a single flex, so you automatically start Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, and James Cook. You're automatically starting them. Now, if you want to put together a package, if I were you, I would maybe shop Tutton around with a Ridley and maybe just go get yourself like a Jawan Jennings or someone like that, right? Someone that is hurt right now that's going to come back and be good. But
maybe you can try to buy – I'm not saying they're kind of buy high candidates, but you could probably get Keenan Allen and Quentin Joseph for cheaper than what people are letting on. Just because no matter what, they still kind of know that they've had these showings. So they're great trade high candidates as well, you know?
Okay, let's get that's tough with Hunter Henry. Yep. So I have a feeling that with that
2-1 legacy game. Yeah.
I would stick with this. I would stick with that team. Try to build up that receiving because obviously your running backs are great, your receivers suck. So I would try to build up those receivers through the,
But I mean, that's what he did though. He took James Cook instead of JSN or whoever else. You know what I mean? He was right there in that ballpark where he could have took another receiver and have these other 2 guys, but you wanted to make your bed to make sure you hit on your running backs. So you just got to kind of be patient with Ridley. Even if you can't shop him around, Ridley's still a guy that could have a great year, even though he's had a bad start. I mean, it's just they're going to do nothing but focus on Cam Ward and Ridley getting the ball. They have to, you know?
Yeah. Dustito's giving some good advice too. All right, Broly, trade Jamar Chase and Javonte Williams and get Josh Allen. Yeah, I mean, obviously we'd have to know a little bit more about your team there, but let's not sell on Jamar Chase yet, right?
No.
And Josh Allen is going to produce, but he's also going to be playing with a lead a lot. I think there's going to be quarterbacks you could find that go get you 30 points. And I would hold on to Jamar Chase and Javonte Williams.
100%.
There's always quarterbacks on the waiver wire you could find, but Josh Allen is going to have big games, but I would not trade Jamar Chase just yet. That Minnesota game, I think, was a little more of an outlier than what we're going to see.
100%. All right, so over to survivors. So we already talked about the Dolphins a little bit. It is the Titans at the Texans. And then another cute pick is the Panthers at the Patriots. I think those are going to be 3 very popular survivor picks. I think people are going to be a little bit scared of the Dolphins. But even in a case of the Titans and Texans, they're 2 0-3 teams, right? The Texans, obviously, a better defense, a better offense.
Yeah, I mean, we can figure out who we want to pick right after. Like, we'll go through that. Let's try to.
But just as other guys, as we look forward to Survivor, that I wanted to mention before we lost.
Down exactly what happened in the. Okay, yeah, and then the big game. Let's go to the Packers-Browns game. Right, Packers were the first Survivor team knocked off. That was the biggest loss of the year so far.
Yep.
So far in Survivor, I think that the Packers losing was huge. They were up 10-0 the whole game. And if you watch that game, though, you could see why not everybody is sold on Green Bay. I said it early on. I love Green Bay if Jaden Reed was going to come back. I think Jaden Reed is kind of a little bit of the catalyst on that. And with those receivers hurt now, with Jaden Reed hurt, and I mean, the Browns defense is amazing. And Myles Garrett was all over the place. That defensive line was
Myles Garrett's the best end in the league. Let's just put it to bed. It's not Micah. It's not anybody else. It's Myles Garrett. The guy's just a handful, bro.
He's amazing because of his size and his speed. It's crazy. The Packers just had that game won, and they just couldn't. The Browns just kept fighting on the defensive end. I mean, the Browns had 0 points halfway through the fourth. I mean, hold on. It could have been actually worse than that, I think. The Browns scored their first point with, bear with me here for 1 second, 3 minutes and 38 seconds left in the fourth quarter. The Browns kicked a field goal. So for 57 minutes, 56 and a half minutes, the Browns couldn't score a point. And I don't even think they missed a field goal, to be honest with you. I don't even think they got in field goal range. So, but the Browns, I was watching that game. They were stubborn. And there were a couple times I'm yelling at the TV to go for it. Of course, that was one of our lead pipe blocks. That was my favorite one. Judkins over 40 and a half at even money. I mean, what a gift. The guy doubled that.
And there's a lot of people all over the spread with the Packers not being able to cover. It was like 7.5, maybe 8, depending on where you got it.
Dustino was on. He got it. He liked it at plus 8.5. It went down to 7.5. That was like the biggest sharp bet. A lot of Vegas, a lot of big money came on Cleveland real late. And I tell you what, you weren't feeling great about it. It was 10-0 the whole. I mean, it was 10-0. It was 3-0 at half.
Just pure backdoor, just making you sweat the entire time. Just like as you're watching every other game unfold, it's just like a block punt, a block kick, and then here come the Browns. They block a kick. It's a touchdown. It's unbelievable, dude. We had 4 blocked kicks this last week, and it's like the most since '91. That's and for the Browns to look like they were about to give up a field goal and to turn it into the only touchdown of the game. That is just like unbelievable.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean,
wild.
It shows you how home field advantage really matters in football. And the Browns
are the best defense in the NFL?
I mean, I think it's the Packers, but the Packers locked them up. Neora 604, thank you for listening. Should I sell high on Amika or hold? I'm holding.
He's a league winner, bro. You hold Amika.
I'm holding. Where you drafted him, no matter where you drafted him, I know you got value on him. Amika, I mean, obviously it's not an automatic hold. I mean, if you're going to get a top pick, but you got great value for him.
You're only trading Amika for like what? Like your top receivers like Puka, Adams, like right? Like these big guys. Like if you believe that you've seen enough from a top performing receiver, a JSN, maybe a Garrett Wilson, like you got to really trust him. Whoever it is, right?
Now, Neori, I know why you're asking this, right? The big thing is Godwin's coming back soon, right? And is Godwin going to affect Amika? I think Godwin, I don't think it's going to affect him that much. First of all, it's going to take Godwin a minute to get back into the offense. I could see Godwin being a win, helping the Bucs get to the Super Bowl, like that kind of player. But fantasy wise, I don't know how relevant Godwin's going to be. Now, if you get a great offer or if you're real stacked on receivers and you need a running back, but for right now, Baker and Amika have that connection. Don't overthink it unless you're getting a gift. And if you get a gift, let us know and we'll try to help you out with that. But I think that Amika and Baker Mayfield have a connection. We have sources that say they're good buddies off the field.
Yeah, even Dustino saying Evans out probably a few weeks. Amika should keep eating. Not a problem. Baker's looking for him. He's made some spectacular catches already. So, yeah, the kid's got nothing but ceiling, and he seems to be pretty tough.
Someone offered A.J. Brown. All right, now we're talking. Yeah, I'm trading A.J. Brown for Amika. I would take A.J. Brown in that. Now, you could argue.
He's got 2 duds, and somebody's trying to get off A.J. Brown, sell him high, right? Because.
Yeah, I think that the Eagles had a little bit of an awakening. The Eagles kind of had these games where they were playing from ahead a lot.
It looked like they were just asking Jalen Hurts to just kind of manage the game and not go win one. And whenever they asked him to go win a game, this is what happens. You know what I mean?
And I think the Eagles are going to have a little bit of an awakening and be like, all right, guys, yeah, we played it close to the vets. They're kind of doing what the Chiefs did last year. Just win. And then they got punched in the mouth, and we saw how they reacted when they got punched in the mouth. I hate to say this as a New York Giant fan, but Jalen Hurts stepped up, and they actually, I think they're going to wake up and smell the roses and be like, hey, we got to throw the ball. We could run it if we want, and we're a running team, obviously, but we got to feed Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown.
Have to.
So, yeah, I'm making that trade. But that's a Egbuka's good. But, yeah, I would take A.J. Brown.
I mean, I would want to hear, Neori, what your other receivers are just to, like,
Yeah.
put my head in a little bit more comfort and rest on that particular question. Let's talk about some injuries. I know we're bouncing around on the games,
Yeah.
but let's
Yeah.
talk some injuries. So the biggest injury, of course, you have CD Lamb with a high ankle sprain,
Yeah.
right? So we talked about what that could mean for Pickens, what that could mean for Ferguson. James Conner done for the year.
Yeah.
Awful, Trey Benson steps right up. If you're looking to go out and get a good running back cheap right now, maybe go get Trey Benson off of somebody's hands. I think that they're definitely going to ride him. Think he's going to be a stud. And it's
Yeah, but
DeMarcado is their
who's
backup.
trading away Trey Benson right now for cheap?
What he needs sometimes means 150 pass yards.
I don't
Yeah, I
think
mean, that's
that
what it is, what hurts.
I don't think anyone's getting off of Trey Benson. Yeah, Nico and J Murray are receivers. Niori, yeah, I would stick with them. You're good, bro. I mean,
Yeah, you're looking good with that. You had Jaden Reed go out for the Packers, broken collarbone.
And it's not just the collarbone now; it's something else too. He's out for the year.
But that's gonna bring in Matthew Golden. Matthew Golden already showed a little bit of pop at Cleveland as well. He's already had a couple of long field targets. I think that it's definitely something that's on the Packers to-do list, is to get him more involved. And I think you're going to see Golden. He's such a speedster. You're going to see him more involved. I'm actually plugging him in a league next week just for the rest of the year. Looks like he's good to go. You had Najee Harris. Here comes the arrival of Amari and Hampton. Najee Harris down, out. I really did love the prop for this last week. They had Najee Harris at like 18 yards or something on his player prop. I loved it. Obviously, you knew he was going to be more involved. That definitely hit. You got Najee now out. Omari and Hampton looks great. Looks like this might have been the boost that he needed. Maybe it's just, in case it's just work relevant. He was catching the ball. He definitely looks like he's going to get 15 to 20 touches a game. Definitely liking that because Najee is down. Bosa is another one. Niners defense takes a massive hit. They lose Bosa, ACL, done for the year.
It's crazy what the Niners had to do.
They barely won that game against the Cardinals. And they have like one of the easiest schedules in the league. They're 3-0, but none of their games have been beautiful at all. They've squeaked it out. Even the Saints had a chance to take them down. It's kind of crazy.
I mean, it's not crazy because the Niners don't have their QB1. They don't have their wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. They don't have their tight end. They don't have
their defense was definitely going to ease a few more of these wins.
Yeah, but they don't have any. Literally, it's amazing they're 3-0 with no QB1, no wide receiver 1, no wide receiver 2, no tight end 1. They also lost their right guard and their backup right guard. Now they've lost Bosa. I mean, they don't have their free safety. It's honestly, I don't know what's going on with San Francisco over the last 10 years, but they are by far the most injury-riddled team. And I'm actually kind of pissed because I have the Niners defense. I only have them because of Bosa, which is whatever. But I'll be just streaming defenses from here on out because that defense without Bosa is very, very, very pedestrian,
Yeah, so that's definitely something to talk about. Massive hit. I mean, if we really want to talk about that with their easy schedule, just because we're right here, the Niners are home against the Jags next week.
Yeah. I think that's going to be a close game because I just don't know how the Niners are going to blow out anybody. Now, Juwan Jennings comes back. I think he's coming back. Pearsall has looked good. He's kind of like their wide receiver 1, I guess. Kittle is still 2 weeks away. I'm waiting for C-Mac to go down. I feel like it's just the way the Niners roll.
C-Mac's not going down, bro. Shut your filthy whore mouth. Broncos at Chargers. What'd you think of that game? I
think that Herbert has finally stepped into this role where he's a front runner for MVP.
Quentin Broncos, Johnston outperforming. What a fantasy darling. Keenan Allen balling out of control. Lad McConkey, fantasy disappointment.
Yep. Second, third round pick. McConkey not performing.
I say it's kind of a case of what Lamar Jackson was trying to say to Mark Andrews. They're covering McConkey, so what you're seeing is Herbert taking what he's given, which is Johnston, Allen, right? And that's kind of what Lamar was doing with Andrews. They're covering Andrews, so that's why you're seeing Bateman or Flowers or whoever else is open. Now, as soon as they get off of that coverage and they start trending towards Allen and Johnson, then you're going to see Ladd come back out, right? I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think that lad still blows up. I think he's still going to be a great receiver. He's still a one. Now, your point is that he doesn't get open against number one cover corners.
He struggles against Niori. Yeah, I'm panicking a little bit on RJ Harvey.
A little bit on RJ Harvey.
Yeah, Travion is getting the carries. Travion's going to start taking over that backfield. But RJ Harvey.
And I don't know why with RJ Harvey. Dobbins hasn't looked dominant. And I don't know why that you don't have Peyton getting him more involved. Like RJ Harvey.
You know what? Dobbins went 11 carries for 83 yards versus the Chargers. I mean, Dobbins is the guy.
That was his like real first game that he looked good. His other games were kind of pedestrian.
But against the Chargers, I mean, that means that
Peyton, and you say you're waiting on C-Mac to get hurt? I'm waiting on Dobbins to go stub his toe and he's out for the year.
No, Dobbins is definitely going to be – I mean, I'm not saying get rid of RJ Harvey, but I think that Dobbins is the guy there until he goes down. Dobbins looked great with the Chargers last year. Then he got hurt again, right? Dobbins just gets hurt. Hold on to RJ Harvey, but that is Dobbins' backfield to lose. And you were getting Dobbins, 5 rounds after RJ Harvey?
I'm sure drafting Travion and RJ with Derrick Henry, you were probably really stoked about it, knowing that those guys, like, they should be popping off the potential from Travion and, like, RJ and this sexy Sean Payton offense. You just got to be patient with him. We saw the patience with Judkins paying off. You're going to see patience with these rookie running backs paying off. Just continue to wait. They're going to pop. Omarion Hampton's another one who just paying dividends this week.
And Niori 604. Post your record in the chat too. I'm curious.
He said he was 2-1, I think, is what his record was.
I think that was Broly. Broly was 2-1. But or KB football was 2-1. I'm curious.
Yeah, he said he's 2-1.
Yeah, KB said he was 2-1, but Niori's 2-1 also. All right. So that's Chargers Broncos. It was a great game. Chargers closed it out. Herbert, Harbaugh, those are 2 winners. And
these are the 2 front runners of that division. You know what I mean? We'll segue right into the Chiefs, playing keep away from the Giants a little bit. Yep. Neighbor's injury how bad is Neighbor's injury? Is it bad? Is it not?
We really haven't talked about Tracy's out 4 to 6 weeks. The shoulder popped out.
So that's Cam Scattaboo's backfield for the rest of the year.
That's Cam's backfield. He had 60 yards rushing, 60 yards receiving last week. He's the goal line back. He's a Mike Allstott that can do backflips.
And you're on record saying it was Tracy's backfield, but you're also on record saying you have to adjust, you have to move, and you have to be ready to pivot. And clearly it's Scattaboo. So you did just trade Brian Thomas. Let's make it out there, right? We're out here. We're talking about trades. You guys want our advice. We're giving it to you. TJ just traded Brian Thomas Jr. for Cam Scattaboo. Was it straight up?
Yeah, straight up.
All right, go ahead and break down that trade for us.
I was on record saying that I wasn't on record. The people on the ground that were at Giants training camp were on record saying that's Tyrone Tracy's backfield to lose. And then Cam comes in, picks up a couple great blocks on blitz packages, and lowers his head. There was that touchdown that he had. I don't know if you saw it, but as he's like at the 3-yard line, he's holding onto the ball, and like literally he's about to kind of like he's like getting his balance, so he holds the ball like this, literally like this. The Chiefs defender comes from the side and punches it, right? Like a clear punch, and the ball doesn't even move. Like that's how strong Cam Scattaboo is, right? And I think that's why the Giants love him. We'll get to your question in a minute, Yori.
That's actually really cool because we saw the punch outs all weekend. And like it was like they didn't even look like they really hit it clean and they were popping the ball. So for you to say he's got it extended like this,
it was
somebody
insane.
takes a clean shot at it.
It was a clean shot, and
that's so crazy, dude.
That ball didn't even move. We'll get to all those. We'll get to Tristan. We'll get to Niori.
Hey, would you guys trade Devontae Smith for Trey Benson? I would. Personally, I think Trey Benson goes on to be an RB2 for the rest of the year. Devontae, I think we saw Devontae's real colors last year. He's going to be a guy that's going to be around 800 to 1,000 yards. He could eclipse that. He could not. I think you're definitely going to – it just maybe depends on if you need a running back more than a receiver. I think you're just going to get more feast or famine with Devontae Smith, and you're going to get more consistency out of what you're going to see from Trey Benson.
Yeah, a lot of mouths to feed in the Eagles. I'm definitely going to do Devontae Smith. I would take Trey Benson over Devontae Smith for sure. Next.
Should I trade Jefferson for CMC, Ginty, and Devontae? What? Hold on. Break that down.
Okay, so it's Jefferson for C-Mac, Genti, and Devontae. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what that means. So you're saying it's obviously not Jefferson for C-Mac, Genti, and Devontae. Obviously, that cannot be the case, right?
That would be highway robbery, and if you're in a league like that, you might not want to be in a league like that.
Yes, I would trade Jeff. I would take C-Mac, Genti, and Devontae over Justin Jefferson. Yes, with Carson Wentz at quarterback. If you want to clear that question up, though, we'll do it. But if it's a 1 for 3, I'm taking those 3, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. That's like a no-brainer. I would just hit accept right now if you can.
Niori was offered Josh Allen and JMO for Mahomes and Tyreek. No, yeah, we know CMC is C-Mac Shadow. We're asking is okay. We'll get back to you, Shadow. But yeah, Josh Allen and JMO for Mahomes and Tyreek. I'm holding on to Josh Allen and JMO.
Yep,
Mahomes,
holding on to Josh Allen.
Putting up stats. Tyreek, I love Tyreek, but there's an unknown there with Tua.
What you're seeing with JMO is a boom or bust, bro. Like that's what he makes a living at. He's still going to be dominant, and he's still a leader in that locker room. And Amon-Ra is still going to be your number one. But they have a nasty running game. They have an amazing tight end, and they still have Jameson Williams. I mean, he's going to be awesome. He's going to win you some games this year. So hang on to JMO.
Yeah. Don't get rid of Josh.
Don't trade for him. Yeah.
Not doing that one. All right. Shadow, really quick. So we know that CMC is C-Mac. We get that. But if it's Jefferson for C-Mac, Genti, and Devontae, I'm definitely taking those 3 over Justin Jefferson. Jefferson's got Carson Wentz at quarterback. And then when McCarthy comes back, Jefferson's going to be okay this year, but he's not going to be a wide receiver 1. He is not going to be.
I think this is the first year that Justin Jefferson doesn't hit all those big numbers that he's done every year. This is it. This is where we're kind of looking at it. And it's a little bit weird because you could see he was whatever he did. Okay. 7 catches, 70 yards, whatever it was, right. For wins.
Yeah.
Maybe there's more meat on the bone, but I'm realistically projecting Jefferson at 1,100 yards is what it looks like it's going to be. We're already 3 games in. You know what I mean? You can't sit there and say, oh, and he could pop anytime, but a pop game looks for over 100 and a tutty. You know what I mean? Kind of looks like a big game for him. And it doesn't look like he's going to be hitting those elite 150, 200-yard games. I don't know if their offense is going to want to be like that. TG even said their identity seems like it's going to be a grind it running game. You're going to throw some. It's going to be a defense. You're going to hang your hat on that. And I just don't know if I really I would definitely get rid of Jefferson. Genti has got more room to grow.
Yeah,
McCaffrey's the only show in town.
I don't mind buying low on Genti right now. Yep. And Broly, I like that trade. Hopefully it goes through for you if you get C-Mac and JSN for Chase and Javonte. Let's kind of go to the number 1 pick for Survivor was the Seahawks at home versus Saints. Seahawks blew their doors off. Seahawks.
It wasn't even close. Every time you looked up, it was the Seahawks just putting the ball in the end zone.
Yep. Seahawks look like they might have one of the best defenses in the NFL. They are pretty balanced. And, man, if you're Minnesota, you're just why did we let Sam Darnold just go, right? Yes, he did not finish the season very strong.
Breaking news, Tyrone Tracy expected to be sidelined 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So not as long as I was thinking. Yeah. I was thinking more 6 to 8, but 2 to 4 weeks, even if it's on the latter half, that gives Cam a solid 3 weeks essentially to go out there and prove that he's the rookie own, right? That's another rookie paying off dividends right now, man. Cam Scottibo drafted super late and could be a fantasy darling right now, stepping up.
No, for sure.
Because what are the Giants doing? Neighbors is kind of hurt. They're not talking about it. Wan'Dale Robinson gets a ton of targets. I heard that Dayball said yesterday that the quarterback door is open for week 3, that it's no longer guaranteed Wilson next week. So maybe it's Jackson Dart, right? Yeah. Or maybe Jameis. Maybe they give Jameis a little burn. I'm just okay, so we're week 3. You get a new quarterback. Cam can catch the ball. He might be he's a starter going forward next week and all.
Yeah, he's going to get 15 carries a game, and gets all the goal line work.
Looks like he's going to get 4 to 5 catches, though, too, right?
Yeah, he has more catches. He had 6 catches last week. That's
what I'm saying. I'm thinking he's going to get 4 to 5 catches as a floor. Because that's what I remember him doing in college. So if he comes in, he runs hard goal line, gets 4 to 5 catches. He's kind of looking like a Kyron Williams. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Brian Thomas Jr. has 7 catches this year. Cam had 6 last week on Sunday night. Let's talk about the Ravens
Lions game last night. So what's the
great game?
So we do have another show that we watch, The Uninformed Fan. I know this is a point that Jeff said it's a hill he's willing to die on, that the Lions are shit this year.
Yeah.
I don't think they're that bad. Let's play the 3 circle of who beat who. The Lions got beat by the Packers. Everyone anointed the Packers. They're the number 1 team, 2 power rankings, whatever. The Lions go out, beat the Ravens. Okay. The Ravens, phenomenal team. They lost to the Bills. They're 1-2, right? And this was a home loss where the Ravens did not look like they had a lot of they didn't air the ball out. I was like, Zay Flowers, again, feast or famine, driving me crazy. I'm sure driving other managers crazy, but just inconsistent. And Lamar just wasn't, making the throws. He got sacked 7 or 8 times. You got to get rid of the ball sometime, okay? Like, it's more than you just being able to, like, used to say, look for your first read, run around a little bit, run for the first down. If it's not there and you can't run around, you got to let go of the ball. And then you just had the Browns beat the Packers. So the Packers have lost to the Browns, the Lions lost to the Packers, and then the Ravens lost to the Lions. So I don't know if the Lions should really be that dogged on. I think we talked about the Browns having an amazing offense.
Yeah, but there's only one person on planet Earth that's dogging the Lions. That's our buddy Jeff. I mean, everybody else.
I was just really trying to compute it and look at the win, who's beat who, and why we could say such a thing. And I didn't agree with it, and I still don't see it. I think the Lions look for real. I got a league where I got Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery as a tandem and running backs, and they just look like they're going to run the league over. You have all these weapons we talked about with the Lions. I think that they definitely outmatched the Ravens, and I thought it was real pertinent, the 4th down play when they wanted to win the game versus punt, and they find Amon-Ra. You said he was being held. The ball was so beautiful. The way that the pressure came in and Goff had to let it go, it was such a perfect touch throw. It wasn't.
Yeah, I didn't say he was being held. The ref called holding, defensive
right.
holding. So it was, I mean, they won the game, but they went for it on 4th down. There was a great stat that the Ravens since 2020 have lost 16 games when they're up a touchdown in the second half, which
That's
doesn't
crazy.
seem which, I mean, it's, you could, so they're saying that if the Ravens are up 21-14 in the second half, they've lost like 16 of those games, right? It didn't seem as crazy until you hear they're by far the most. They've lost 16. The next closest team has lost 9, right? So the Ravens over the last 5 years are known for blowing second half leads.
100%.
Did you see Lamar Jackson's stats, though, as far as passing? Did you see him? Because I was shocked. He was 21 for 27 for 288 yards and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. If you told me he did that, I would think they win the game 100 out of 100. I mean, how many guys throw for almost 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, as efficient? Like Herbert threw for 300, but Herbert needed to throw the ball 48 times. Lamar Jackson threw the ball 27 times, completed 21 of them for 288 and 3 touchdowns. Now,
it just seemed like, I guess, whenever it mattered at those last couple of drives, he was just hanging on to it too long.
What you said was a good point, though. He got sacked 7 times for 55 yards. And you feel like Dan Campbell and the Lions defense, because when they played the Bills, Bosa was getting shook out of his boots. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, of course.
And they could not contain him. And they showed Bosa a couple times, like, mad at himself. I know that's not an easy job to contain. Hutchinson, obviously a little more talented than Bosa right now, younger.
Hutchinson was a madman last night, dude. He's back.
Hutchinson locked up Lamar Jackson. Like,
yeah,
Hutchinson and that defensive line, they broke down in front of Lamar Jackson. And it's easy for us to say on the couch, contain, contain, contain. But how hard is it to contain Lamar Jackson? Very hard. And they found a way. On that note, the Ravens scored 31 points and looked like they couldn't be stopped all game. And like the Ravens do, they turned the
overhit easily on the biggest line too, right? It wasn't like 53 and a half and it went over.
Yeah, they scored 30, not 31. Yep, 38-30. It was a crazy game. I thought it was kind of ironic that Dan Campbell late in the game had a choice. He could punt the ball and give the Ravens a shot, or they could go for it on 4th and short And what does Dan Campbell do? He goes for it. And like you said earlier, Amon-Ra St. Brown, perfect route, perfect play call. They pulled Amon-Ra St. Jersey down, and if they didn't complete the ball, they would have got the first down anyways. But Jared Goff was 28 for 20, 20 for 28, 202 yards, 1 touchdown, really efficient. It was just a really good game.
It was just crazy because they ran the ball down the Ravens' throat, and then they embarrassed their offensive line. Like they pressured the quarterback and they ran the ball. That's like the two most old school principles in football that you want to go out there and have these checkpoints. Did we dominate their offensive line? Yes, you did. You hemmed them up, bro. Like you had Lamar contain, like you said, 8 sacks, and Lamar had an unbelievable game. I didn't even know his line was like that. That's insane. And then you also ran the ball down their fucking throat and just like pounded the rock. It was David Montgomery in a 70-yard run, David Montgomery in a 40-yard run, Jahmyr Gibbs running the ball in 2 times, catching the ball out of the backfield. 4th down, Jahmyr Gibbs. 4th down. Like unbelievable. Like they come out and they literally manhandled the Ravens is what it looked like to me. And that's why I'm on the Lions bandwagon as a top team in the NFC. I definitely think they're a force to be reckoned with. I think game 1 in the NFL is a lot like what people say. It's week 4 of the preseason. It's game 1. I think if the same Lions go into Green Bay and play them again, I think we get a different game.
Yeah, I think that the Ravens, I mean, they're the best 1 and 2 team in the NFL for sure.
100%.
They just seem to
heartbreakers, the Bills and the Lions.
Yeah, they seem to turn the ball over late, which I don't know why. I think it's really bad luck.
Derrick Henry's fumble was bad, dude. That was a bad fumble.
It was a bad fumble, and I just don't think when you're 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, you don't expect the ball to get poked out from the back, right? Like if you saw, it was like an off tackle where you let the end, rush up the field.
But they were just penetrating their offensive line, so that was what we're saying. Like they were manhandling their line, so Henry couldn't even get 3 yards to the line of scrimmage without them caressing him.
Yeah. And let's talk about our lead pipe lock too. We had Jahmyr Gibbs over 26.5. Now, when you look at the stat line, it looks like we barely won, right? Because he had 32 yards.
Right.
But he had 13 yards receiving on the first drive.
Right.
And halfway through the second quarter, I want to say, it was before halftime, he hit the 26.5, right?
Yep.
And then he ended up getting, I think, 1 catch after that. And I thought it would be a game where the Lions might be playing from behind a little bit. But whenever you have an over-under over 50 and you have a Pro Bowl running back that is known for catching the balls out of the backfield, like Jahmyr Gibbs is like a hybrid, even though he had 22 carries, give me the over all day. And I liked his over rushing yards too, because his rushing yards were only 55.
Right, and he definitely cleared that.
And he cleared that too. He had 22 carries. I think he only had 60 yards. He had 22 carries for 67 yards. Montgomery popped the long one. And it's an interesting backfield. It's kind of why the Gibbs numbers sometimes are kind of low, because it's not a timeshare. It's 2-1. Gibbs plays 2. Montgomery plays 1. And then Montgomery gets a little winded. They put Gibbs in. But most of the time when Gibbs starts a drive, he finishes the drive, because Gibbs is young and he's got energy. He's got stamina. It's fun to watch. We hit that lead pipe lock. We're undefeated on our prop bets. We're called Prop Stars, right? We specialize in prop bets, but we also release other bets because when we get prop information, that might lead us to another bet that we like.
You know what one that I was so upset about last night? Obviously, talking about yours, you're undefeated on those. I was interested, and we didn't put this out there, but I really liked the DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind because it was only 2 catches. It was 1.5, and it was like 18 yards, and he caught 13. He had a couple other targets that the numbers could easily hit both. So it wasn't like it wasn't a bad game at all. It wasn't a bad pick. But what was alarming about it is that they were down, and they still couldn't get him the ball. And like, I know that he has like rapport with Bateman, and Flowers wasn't getting open. It was definitely an Andrews game, but I thought the first 2 games showed enough for them to go into the DeAndre Hopkins well a little bit.
When we called it, we obviously didn't release it because we were a little weird about
Hesitant on it. I wanted to talk about it though.
We just know that the Ravens will sometimes hit 8 to 10 different receivers. They could all have one catch. And also, the Ravens built this offense 5 years ago for Lamar Jackson.
Right.
And it's a lot of times like where it's a shotgun and you see Lamar Jackson's like body posture where it's going to be like a QB sweep or it's a Derrick Henry kind of run. But it's something where you never really want to take a Ravens receiver prop bet because you just don't know where it's going to happen and when it's going to happen. I mean, this guy, Charlie Kohler, he only had 2 catches for 22 yards, but I feel like
that would have hit on both.
Yeah. Dustino released a good bet, which, we're going to get him officially on the Pop Sports Network soon. He'll be an official member, but he liked the Rashad Bateman anytime touchdown.
Right. That one definitely.
We don't want to release bets that are minus 150, minus 160. Those aren't fun. We're trying to give you minus 110s, maybe minus 120s, or better the other way, right? And Dustino's anytime touchdown, if he's listening, I don't know exactly what the odds are on that, but that was a real good play. And, we see this with receivers, right? So it was Hopkins the first couple of weeks. We knew Bateman was going to get involved. Bateman is a very important receiver on that team. He's almost like, to me, the Jaden Reed of the Packers, where, like, if he's gone, you're going to feel it in a big-time game, right? And I think that's, like, I'm honestly scared to pick the Packers because I think Jordan Love is struggling because Reed is – I read reports he was out for the year, and it wasn't because of his collarbone. He broke his collarbone, which you can recover from that. But it's a foot injury, and they decided that since they're going to do the collarbone, they're doing the foot also, foot surgery, and that's going to hold them out the whole year. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but I heard that from a –
So, yeah, that leads to Wicks, Romeo Dubes, and Matthew Golden, and a lot of Tucker Kraft.
Yeah. But, yeah, that game last night was fun, and I just thought it was ironic that Dan Campbell went for it on 4th down, and Baltimore decided not to go for it on 4th down against the Bills, and they gave the ball to Josh Allen, and Josh Allen marched right down the field. Not only did they march down the field, and we'll go back to that week 1, but it was like the first play from scrimmage, right? He hits Palmer on that corner route. Maybe it was the second play. But, like, literally, you punted the ball, and then within a couple plays, Josh Allen is right where you were. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yep.
That's kind of what Dan Campbell was thinking yesterday. It was the same exact kind of game. Nobody could stop anybody. Dan Campbell felt like, I can't stop Lamar. We're up a touchdown. Let's go for it. Let's win this game. We're moving the ball at will. And it was a 4th and short, and they had a great play call cooked up. But I just want to – it's called defense for a weak reason, right? Offense is aggression. Defense is you're defending, right? I want to keep it in – I want the football in our hands when it comes to a big play. And it's 4th and short. When you have all those weapons, just go for it, right?
Yeah, I agree. Let's break down some of the fantasy players that have left us wanting more or that have been having good weeks. Let's talk about the good first. Jonathan Taylor, probably RB1 right now, consensus. Leading the league in rushing. He's got touchdowns. Obviously, he's a beast, and that Colts offense is rolling. We mentioned James Cook. Underdrafted, absolutely balling. The Bills are giving him that. I thought it was going to be a little bit more of Ray Davis, in that backfield, who kind of showed a little bit of coming to light last year. That has not really shown the case to be so far. Who else do you want to talk about his other goods?
It was Hard Knocks, and I followed the James Cook contract thing on Hard Knocks, which was really interesting. And the one thing that I noticed from Hard Knocks is how much respect the players had for James Cook when he was out. Like, even Ray Davis was like, they're like, oh, you excited to be like, you're the running back, at least until Jake. And Ray Davis was like, no, this is James Cook's backfield. And everyone's like, this is James Cook's backfield. So, like, you know what I mean? Sometimes
it's a massive deal for him to get that. Hey, quick question. I was offered DK and either JMO or Purcell for Rice. Should I take it?
I'm not high on DK anymore. It looks like Rodgers is targeting him in the end zone, so he's getting some touchdowns. But man, it looks like he's going to be a 50-yard a game guy, and Rodgers is going to spread it out. I was offered DK and either let's just say DK and Jameson Williams for Raji Rice. I mean, yeah, I'll take that. We don't know what Raji Rice is going to do. He hasn't played in 12 months. I mean,
yeah, you say that, I guess, but like
you think
I guess
Rice,
this is why you do it, is because Rice just still has this upside because nobody else in that offense is doing it. You know what I mean?
It's like there's so many people on that offense with Kelsey, with all the tight ends.
But Rice was like the proven number one with all those people. It didn't matter.
Yeah, but now they have that other guy. What's it? Thornton, Xavier.
Yeah, Tyquan Thornton, obviously one of their deep guys. They're trying to. He seems. I know Jeff said he's a waiver wire pick. I kind of feel like he's definitely one of their gimmick guys, right? But he's getting targets, and they're looking for it. I think Thornton's going to be more involved until Rice gets back. But I think once you see Rice get back, I think that he's the undisputed number one receiver in that offense.
Yeah. So Alex, I'm not super high on Rice. So if you could go get value for Rice, go do it. If you could get DK,
I like Jameson Williams a lot.
If you get DK Metcalf and Jameson Williams for Rice and you think you're shallow at receiver, I'd go do that right now. Yeah. I think Rice could be a league winner, but if you're somewhere where you're 1-2 right now and you want to go get wins, Rodgers.
Well, Jamo's going to win you a few weeks already by himself. He's going to have a couple of those games. So you're getting a floor from DK and you're getting the ceiling from Jamo. It's a pretty good balance.
I guess. Who are you favoring higher, Jameson Williams or Pearsall? Though that's pretty close. It is close.
I don't know. I don't like the quarterback situation, so I'll take Jamo. You know what I mean?
I know, and I kind of agree with you there, but Mac Jones has been okay, right? I mean,
he's been serviceable until Purdy gets back.
284 yards against Arizona, and Pearsall had 8 catches for 117 yards. I mean, now Jawan Jennings and Ayuk will be back soon, so
this was Parasol's time to shine because he had an opportunity. And this is what we're going to see. Is it going to be what we saw in the pre-fantasy draft rankings where he is the guy? Because Pearsall and Igbuka were being drafted next to each other, okay? Like, it was either one or the other. I obviously chose Igbuka in just about every league because of what I heard and also the situation of the offense. Yep. The Niners, I guess, they present some similarities. He's a young number one, and they have these other injuries around him, so he's getting his shot to perform.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's McCaffrey's show there. You know what I mean? I still think that – but, yeah, I guess you're right. Like, I think that there's going to be less shine for Pearsall in the future than there is right now, so you're kind of buying high on Pearsall right now.
Oh, also a stat that Troy Aikman said yesterday. Did you hear this stat? Derrick Henry has had 20. I'm just going to round up a little bit for easy math. Derrick Henry has had 2,600 carries in his career so far, right? He's in year 10. Emmitt Smith had a 13-year career. How many carries do you think Emmitt Smith had?
You said Derrick Henry has 10,000?
No, Derrick Henry is at 2,600.
2,000. I'll say Emmitt Smith had 3,300.
4,400.
44. Okay, so
isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
that was a good guess. At least 4K, right? Isn't that crazy? That like we look at Derrick Henry, like the tread has not worn off. He still looks great, right?
And this is a part of the reason why. And I swear, when Derrick Henry came in the league from Alabama, they kept him as a second fiddle for like 3 years.
Yeah.
So it just like saved all of that tread as well. That's why we love him so much.
Maybe it's just crazy to think that how the game has changed. Like, to me, Derrick Henry is the ultimate bell cow where at least for the last 7 to 8 years, the whole offense has revolved around him. And he is, it's almost half. It's 60% of Emmitt's carries. And that's just now Derrick Henry's going to get to over 3,000, but I think he might top out at maybe 3,500 tops.
I think Derrick Henry made the right move going to Baltimore too. I think he fits so good in that scheme with Lamar. and everything they have. If I know Dallas really wanted him, I don't think he would be as effective in Dallas. We just don't
Yeah,
have, the scheme that I think would look as good around him. I think he would be running into a wall. We don't have, whose offensive line is better, Baltimore's or ours?
yeah, Baltimore, I think, and props,
Baltimore.
but also it's the big run threat with Lamar Jackson that opens it up.
That's what I'm saying. That's what makes it so nasty.
And also good props to the Ravens because they did a lot of read option where the running back was next to Lamar Jackson, and Derrick Henry straight up said, I don't feel comfortable. Derrick Henry wants to get the ball running towards the line. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yep.
And so the Ravens moved to a pistol for a lot of formations.
Right.
So they could hand off Derrick
They
Henry.
play the most pistol in the league right now, right?
You hand off Derrick Henry as he's going to the line instead of running horizontal, right? Where you do it, read option is more of a horizontal run game, a lot more outside zones, not inside zones.
Understood.
Pistol is going to be more inside zones. It's interesting to see, but it was cool to see how Baltimore. But I thought that was a crazy stat that there, and Emmitt Smith, that there's 4,400 carries is just insane when you think about the whole, how the
Niori, should I keep Nico Collins? I just don't believe in the Texans. Keep Nico
Yeah,
Collins.
okay, we want to talk about this a little bit too. Not really, yeah. I mean, you're not going to get rid of him, obviously, unless you trade him. You're not going to release him. But yeah, Nico's the only show in town there, and Stroud's going to get the ball. But how about the fall from grace that CJ Stroud? I mean, this team is 0-3, and a lot of people are saying that it's CJ Stroud that isn't delivering. You know what I mean? And remember, I mean, he was a guy that he was like, he's buying dinner for his offensive lineman, having them over. He's a team guy. He's obviously a smart guy. And I've seen him in interviews and in real life. They did a reality show. He's a great guy. But is he an upper echelon quarterback? I mean, he was crowned a top 10 quarterback after his rookie year. He was crowned that. And now I just don't even think Stroud is a top.
Do you think it's because he just has lack of weapons?
I don't know. I mean, he's got a great number one.
He's got a one. He's got
Tank Dell last year. I mean, Tank Dell didn't get hurt till later on in the year. So like Stephon Diggs was there.
It was like middle, and Diggs was there. I guess
he had Joe Mixon last year. I mean, they
ran the shit out of the ball, and he still was like what I said to you earlier, and how I feel. I feel like he's being, I don't know, almost like handcuffed or something. Like, it just doesn't look like he has command of the offense. Doesn't look like he knows how to open it up without Tank Dell taking the top off. Like, they got Jaden Higgins, who's like good. He seems big bodied. They got Schultz, but Chubb isn't popping. Woody Marks obviously hasn't gotten his opportunity yet, but Mixon's coming back soon enough. Maybe not. I mean, they just don't look like the running game's real going. I don't know, man. It looks, something definitely looks off with Houston, and like their offense just looks so simple. It just looks pedestrian.
I don't know why they got rid of who was the offensive lineman that was
Laramie Tunsil?
Yeah,
or it was Thuney. Was it Joe Thuney or Tunsil? It was one.
I think it was Tunsil.
Okay, it was Tunsil.
But yeah, the Texans are 0-3, and it's not looking good. And I think almost most people, I know some weren't super high in them, but we thought they might win a division by default. You and me were a little more on Jacksonville, right? And obviously the Colts are running away with that now. But
yeah, Colts are running away with it. And I was definitely right on a take. The Colts got breakout player Daniel Jones, and I even jokingly said their kicker Schrader is a monster, and they're getting so many opportunities and field goals. Yesterday he was one of the leading kickers going into the game. He like missed his first kick, I think, but he went for his first 9 for 9. So it doesn't matter. You got Jonathan Taylor, you got Daniel Jones. They're running away with that division, and you could probably it's them or the Jags. I definitely like them over the Jags, and I can't wait until they play. I think the Colts run the doors off.
I will say this though: the Colts beat the Dolphins, which the Dolphins, some people are saying they're the worst team in the NFL, right? They're 0-3. And they played the Titans, who are.
But the Colts then beat the Broncos.
But they really didn't beat the Broncos, right? Like they won the game,
right? They didn't beat them.
Like the announcer said, the Broncos won. The Broncos won.
And then they give them a kick.
Yeah.
And then they get it right.
So that whole season could be different, right? But it's pretty cool to see that. I think that I think the Colts are going to come back to earth a little bit, right? you beat the Titans who suck. You beat the Dolphins who suck. And you really lost to the Broncos. So let's see how it goes. Like this week you play against the Rams, right?
Right.
Let's see how you do against the
Let's measure them against the Rams. Niori says, I picked Derrick Henry over JT. I did it in a league too, our Boathouse League. I went Derrick Henry first and got JT on the way back. That's because we all knew that JT was being undervalued and Derrick Henry being undervalued as well. Just at the time, we all thought he was being more undervalued than JT is all.
Isn't it funny that Jonathan Taylor was hands down the number one pick, right? 2-3 years ago?
Right.
And then he slipped a little bit. And now next year he might go back to number one.
Right.
But
he had the head case problems, remember? And he wasn't right, and they weren't giving him the ball. It looked weird for a little bit with Jonathan Taylor and at Indy. Like, I had him pretty much through his whole reigns and all my fantasy. It was just kind of weird how he just wasn't running the ball well, whereas the scheme, it was having locker room problems. He was having some weird interviews. Everything just got figured out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting how it worked.
But
I just remember watching him. I think he played for Wisconsin. When he was like for Wisconsin, I was like, nobody's stopping that guy in the NFL. Like, I just look at Jonathan Taylor. He's like, the Derrick Henry. You look at him, it just doesn't look like he should ever be stopped in running the ball.
We had a bunch of new listeners today. Niori, Alex, Flores, Broly, thanks for coming back. Shadow, Tristan, thank you for listening, guys. We're gonna wrap it up here.
Let's give a quick panic meter. All right, I want to do the panic meter. Are we panicking on Ladd McConkey, Brian Thomas Jr.?
Yeah, I'm full panic mode on both of those guys.
Are we panicking on Drake London, Calvin Ridley?
I think Drake London will bounce back. But
okay, so we're okay with Drake. Are we panicking on Bowers or Genty?
Well, hold on. I think Ridley. Ridley, I'm scared because he had one catch last week. I think the number one corners are locking him up. I'm okay on Bowers and Genty. I mean, Bowers was the number one tight end picked. He's ranked number 6. I could see Bowers bouncing back. Genty looks good, just hasn't had the opportunities yet. But I could see a 100-yard, 2-touchdown game in the future for Genty pretty soon.
Trending up, we decided we definitely have Kyron Williams on the right end, Omarion Hampton and Judkins and Scattaboo, all rookies that are cashing for these next few weeks. And then A.J. Brown also trending up. Any other honorable mentions?
Isn't that kind of funny, though? Like, Judkins and Cam are trending upwards, and, like, they were drafted real late.
Real late.
And R.J. Harvey and Travion and I mean, Hampton finally had a decent game. And now that Najee's hurt, he might be one of the ones that are going up. But, like,
so do you think
– and R.J.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, do you think that there's any advantage now that we've had the draft and we've seen it's unfold for 3 weeks with the season? Was there any advantage of going 0 RB and drafting receivers, or 0 receiver drafting the RBs? And kind of, I think there's value in both. I think everybody makes so much of it every year. Oh, 3 receivers is the way to go here, running back, like yada yada yada. There's disappointments and there's opportunity all over the board. If you went receivers early and got these valuable running backs, you look genius. If you, like Niori, got those running backs with JT Henry and Cook, you look genius. You just got to hit on your receivers. Obviously, Ridley's a miss, but there was other opportunities there. You could have got somebody else instead of Ridley. So I think it's just about being able to pick the diamonds in the rough no matter what. I don't think there's any advantage to any scheme or schematic when it comes to the drafting. I think it's about preference and what you're comfortable with.
And I'd have to look at it, but I think Judkins has more yards than Genty. Judkins didn't play week 1.
100%.
Partially week 2. And I think he might have more yards.
He's already got more yards than Chase Brown, who was a consensus top 24 pick.
Yeah. But
he's got 40 carries.
Genty was like the rookie running back that you cannot miss on no matter what. He's going to be good. And now if you were to draft Genty, he'd be a 4th or 5th rounder. As far as I might go a little earlier, but as far as
we still might see that turnaround, but it doesn't look.
I think it's going to turn around for Genty, but so far productions, right?
If you're interested in Genty and somebody's scared, definitely go buy low on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I would go buy low, buy low on him. I don't know who, but buy low.
I would buy low on Genty, maybe Bowers. There's other tight ends that are producing better than a top 6 tight end, and you drafted Bowers as number 1 overall. You could, somebody might be wanting to get rid of Bowers. You could go give them a receiver or something else and get a good tight end there too.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys.
I know we didn't do too much previewing. Any big highlights for next week's games that you want to talk about?
Well, I'm hoping we have a Thursday show, right? If not, then so be it. But I feel like Thursdays, we're doing Tuesdays and Thursdays now.
The Packers go to the Cowboys, obviously a game. Whenever we're looking at Monday night, Jets, Dolphins, Bengals, Broncos, not looking forward to any. Oh, the Ravens, Chiefs happen next week. That's in KC. The Ravens, they don't go 1-3, right? The Chiefs, are they going to go 1-3? Somebody's going 1-3 in this game, TJ.
Someone's gonna go 1-3.
The Colts Rams, I think, instantly becomes very valuable. That's a huge game right there as well. And then honestly, I want to see the Browns and Lions. Just because of this upset, I want to see what the Browns are going to be able to do. They're in Detroit. I think these are some interesting times right here. Hoping Travion breaks out during Carolina. I did hear some talk that maybe Travion jumps to the number 1 running back slot in that New England offense this week. This is a good opportunity. It looks prime. I would be waiting to hear more out of that. But yeah, fingers crossed. I got him in a league. I'm really hoping that pans out.
I think it's crazy that the NFL flex the Packers-Cowboys game to Sunday night and not the Ravens-Chiefs. Like, I don't have that much. Yeah, it's Parsons coming home to Dallas, but it's like that story.
The Cowboys are about to get our shit pushed in. It doesn't look good. I'm not like it. I like us maybe beating a number. I want to see the number closer to game time before I would really be confident with it. But right now, without CeeDee Lamb, and sure, we can run the ball. I mean, our defense is what's just costing us. We already know we can't stop anyone, and I don't see us being able to stop the Packers, even though they don't have Jaden Reed. I think Josh Jacobs gets off. I think Kraft has a great game, and I think Matthew Golden definitely exposes the deep ball and probably has his breakout performance against us.
Hey, thanks, Newry. Yeah, we're going to most likely do a show on Thursday. We might have some production issues. If not, we'll see you guys next Tuesday. But thanks again, guys.
Prop Stars out, man. Appreciate you. Like, subscribe, get us out there, man. Good luck to your teams, and tell us about how all the trades worked out next week. Peace.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, guys.